Welcome back to another episode of the Experts in Fire podcast. I'm your host, Mike Vennard, and with me today is Randy Mowry. Today's episode is The Advantages of Gas Logs. Let's get into it. Hey, Randy, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic today. Another beautiful day here in Michigan as that cool weather starts to creep in on us in the mornings, which is nice. I'm good with that. Love sleeping with the windows open, my friend. Love sleeping with the windows open.
Yes, sir. Windows open, and what I love about it is layers.
Yes.
We were at a get-together on Monday night, and it was like all of a sudden the sun went behind the house. It didn't even go down. It just went behind the house, and everybody's standing there in their nice summer outfits going, oh, it's chilly. I'm like, oh, layer up weather, baby. I love it.
Perfect. Perfect.
We're going to talk about the advantages of gas logs, which means somebody's moving from wood or thinking about moving from burning wood to gas logs. And we see a lot of advantages to that. And we just wanted to take some time and talk with our listeners out there and say, hey, what are some of the advantages of jumping from burning wood? And I got to tell you, we did it my entire childhood, right? It was buy truckloads of logs, have them delivered.
Yep.
And I'm the 12-year-old out there, you know, Dad's got the chainsaw, and we're cutting and splitting wood, man.
Yeah, and that's there you go. You just led right in. That's the very first advantage right there for the adult part of it. It's buying it and getting that wood split.
Right? I got to tell you, man, I detested it. My older brother hit high school, and he would purposely stay late at practice, football practice, track, whatever sport he was playing, because he knew once the sun got so low, he wouldn't have to cut wood, you know. And here's me, not in high school, going, dang it, I'm going to kill him when he gets home.
Right? Oh, my gosh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that's an advantage, wouldn't you?
Definitely. That's probably the number one advantage. Maybe not so much for the adult. I mean, he's got to pay for it, but that's the first advantage for the kids that are splitting it. All joking aside, then, you know, obviously you have to buy it. If you don't have a forest in your backyard, you have to buy it. You have to split it. Then, of course, you have to haul it somewhere. So you have to split it. Then you've got to carry it. Then you have to store it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so that leads into a whole nother process. I mean, you know, wood burning appliances are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I mean, and there's a lot of advantages of them. But when we're talking strictly about going from wood to gas, those are two big ones, you know, especially on somebody's property. You know, you're relying on purchasing it, splitting it, hauling it, storing it someplace, hauling it again to get into the house. And if, you know, it's wet in some cases, there's bugs on it. There's a lot of things with inside the family envelope there that I don't want those spiders in the house. So there's
Yep. When you say haul it, for anyone out there who's listening, hopefully you're chuckling along with us, because it's more than one haul, brother. You know, you cut it and then you split it and you haul it to its first stop. And then the next year you haul it to its second stop. And then the next year you haul it into the house. And then for us, we had a spot. You went halfway down into the basement, and there was a door that went outside. So that was the second spot you hauled to, so that during the year it was seasoned and you could bring the wood into the house. And it was like every other day, hey, boys, fill the wood box.
Yeah, which leads into the interior mess of the house, because you're constantly shuffling wood around, you know.
Exactly.
And we haven't even had a fire yet. We haven't even had a fire yet.
Right,
So we haven't even gotten to the part of like the interior, you know, cleanup on the interior of the fireplace. You know, once you get there and you have the fire, then you have the creosote that builds up and gets in the walls. Then you have the ash, because you've got to do something with that ash after each fire. You've got to clean that out. So you have that mess, you know, that's inside the house. And then during your fire, of course, depending on the moisture content of somebody's wood, there could be some smoke roll over into the house. And, you know, so you have like that part of the fire to contend with as well.
Right. And man, I do want to state, we're making wood burning sound terrible. When it comes to just flat heating, wood is the way to go. You're gonna get them hot coals going, especially with the fireplaces that are available today, or the wood stove inserts, or whatever you're thinking there. Totally separate episodes, other things for us to discuss. I still go and cut and split wood at our cabin, but I'm constantly sweeping.
Absolutely.
The cabin just has concrete floors, but my dad even built a wood box on wheels. You've seen it, Randy, so that you can push that sucker outside because of the mess that would follow you in when you're carrying wood into the wood box, right?
Exactly. What it is, Mike, and this is real common. I know we're having a lot of fun with this morning and joking about wood, and you said it. Wood's a great heat source. We do a lot of wood stoves that are designed to heat a space up, and that's fantastic. When we're talking with folks and these are their reasons really of why they're looking to go into a gas log, is maybe they're aging a little bit and they're just tired of buying that wood and hauling, storing, splitting, stacking, and maybe they've had an injury, hurt their back, and they just can't haul it anymore, and getting that wood into the fireplace, and they're just kind of done with it, and that's why they're looking to get into that gas log.
You have fire-related questions, and we have answers. You can email us your questions at podcast@woodlanddirect.com or give us a call at 586-221-3638. We would love to be able to answer them right here on the Experts in Fire podcast. You're also, depending on where you're at in the country, natural gas has been at very low rates for a long time. In a lot of folks, the efficiency on our furnaces are so high at this stage. It's not like it costs an arm and a leg anymore to heat your home. And then you think there are some folks who are just sitting there going, it's got nothing to do with my body. It's got nothing to do with the price of gas. It has everything to do with I'm just sick of it, right?
Correct.
I want to put my chainsaw away. And I get it. So let's dive in just a little bit, because I have to admit, my dad is in his 70s. So I have my chainsaw, my son has his chainsaw, and he'll bring his chainsaw. He bought a nice one. But that's what it is. It's like that old-timer sports car. That guy who's driving down the road in that hot Corvette here in Detroit. You always see it, right? That hot Corvette.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, it can do 120, but I'm doing 68 in a 70. What are you doing? That's the chainsaw my dad bought. And we literally will get going, and he'll stand and watch, because of physical reasons or whatever, and back sore, and then you just see it overcome him. He's like, here, let me get in there. He starts, it's so fun to watch. But you're right, everybody hits that stage where it's like, man, this is just more work than I want to put in. So let's just dive in real fast, because really the advantages of gas logs, we really just said a lot of the disadvantages of wood, right?
Of wood, correct, you're right.
Right. So some of the advantages of having gas logs in that fireplace of yours are, I think we should start with, are going to be the fact that you don't have to worry about that fire going out. You can put it out. Right? Hot ashes, hot coals. And for anybody who burns wood, they understand you're not going to put this stuff into the coal bucket until it's cooled down, son. If you do, then the coal bucket has to either sit outside or next to the wood stove until it cools down and you can dump them, right? One big advantage is not having to worry about that cleanup side of things.
Correct. Yeah. Going into it and getting the gas logs installed, it really becomes a big convenience, ease of use. There's going to be so many different ways to operate the logs. The advantage of just being able to walk into that living room or that space, the basement, and either flipping a switch or, hitting a remote control. And then you have this, instant fire. You have this nice ambiance fire going now, versus having to do all of the stuff that we previously talked about. It's just the convenience, easy to use. And you can let it run. You could just let it sit there and go for hours at a time without having to get up and worry about, feeding this or cleaning up that, and just go on about enjoying more time actually with the family down there when you're sitting there watching that fire.
That's a great point, Randy. I have been at people's houses before, and they've had the gas log set on, and you feel like, man, it's getting kind of warm in here. And you just flip the switch, and it's off, right? I've also been in our cabin where we had my dad took his supersized wood stove up there, and it would get too hot in the cabin. And now the only thing you can do is open it up all the way and let it burn out, right? I mean, windows are open. It's 22 degrees outside. The front door is open, the screen door. It's so much
We talked
more
about
difficult.
layers. You're peeling layers off at that point.
Exactly. You're sweating inside watching the animals try and survive in the woods. It's funny. It is funny. So convenience, absolutely. I think just in terms of temperature control especially inside of homes that are well constructed nowadays. Older homes, different story. We need to have a different conversation. But inside of these homes that are well constructed, well insulated, you do have an awesome opportunity for ambiance at an instant and then gone at an instant as well.
Yeah, and also what's nice about, when you transition into a gas log set as well is it opens up the opportunity for more of the family members to use the fireplace. If you have kids, I have my daughter, 3 stepkids, and with gas logs, it's one of those things where, no problem. It's ease of use. All the safety features are there. I have no problem using, they can use the fireplace all day long. Where is if I'm out of town and they're calling me, asking me about how to start a fire in a wood burning fireplace, there's some challenges there. So there's some worries there, things like that. Those kind of things go away from a safety aspect when you transition into a gas log set as well.
So we've talked about convenience. We've talked about we talked about the inconvenience of wood.
We did.
And then, some of the conveniences when it comes to just using gas logs. And I'm sitting here thinking, it'd probably be a good idea for us to do an episode just on ignition systems for gas log sets, because we're talking about how
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we're talking about how convenient they are. But, I mean, we could really get into the cool conveniences that are available, because I can't get over it. You hit the nail on the head when it came to the kids. So my 2 sons are, out of college. My daughter's 12. And we were at a place up on Lake Superior in the Keweenaw Peninsula. And it was so cool watching them just kind of intermingle in the main living space. And my son Joe's girlfriend was with us, and she's like, I'm cold. And somebody just gets up and flips the switch. Poof, the fire is going. There's no... And I got to tell you, Randy, we had access to one of those saunas, those big... Have you seen, they're like a big barrel, and you can walk into them, but you have to start a fire first. And they literally had a bucket out there of all the materials to start the fire. You get the fire going, and then it's like a little wood stove, but it's stone, and you pour the water on it, and that's where you get the steam for the sauna.
That's where you get the steam from. Nice.
Nobody wanted to start the fire, man. I'm like, hey, we're going to go into the sauna? Yeah, and they're like, nah, who wants to start a fire? Convenience is definitely one of the big plays there. Safety. Let's touch that real fast before we close this episode out. When it comes to chimney fires, and I know we talk about that all the time, Randy, you talk, anybody burning wood, you'll talk with them about cleaning that chimney and things of that nature. Can you speak to that real fast as well?
Absolutely. Because we're transitioning for gas doesn't mean that we don't have to take care of the chimney itself. So a chimney itself has to function. So especially when you're going from wood to gas, it still has to function as if you're going to burn wood in it and meeting that criteria. So whenever you're transitioning from wood burning to gas, it is a must to have a professional chimney sweep come out, not only clean the chimney, but also do an inspection. Typically what they'll do is they'll run a camera down that so that they can actually see what's going on with the integrity of, like if it has clay liners on the inside of it, and making sure there's no cracks of deterioration in there that is going to require some kind of maintenance. So very, very important, because especially if it's somebody just comes in and buying a house, you don't know when it was cleaned last time, if there's creosote built up in there, because creosote on the sides of the inside of it could still create and cause a chimney fire, and you don't want that. Just because you're going to gas doesn't mean that it's just automatically safe. You're still pushing heat up through that chimney. So we want to make sure that is all done, but that needs to be done by a professional, an actual certified chimney sweep.
Absolutely. And that, safety, anytime you're using that chimney is very important. One of the advantages to burning gas over that wood, though, is you're not going to run the same risks of burning super hot versus a pretty consistent what's our hottest gas log set, Randy? 90,000, 100,000 BTUs?
Yeah, 90, 100,000 if you're getting into like close to like the 30, 36 inch sizes. I mean, obviously we have much larger ones, but those are going to require very large fireplaces. But on average, you're going to see that most gas log sets are going to fall, into that, probably in that like anywhere from 50 to like 75,000 BTUs on average with fireplace sizing. We just want to make sure that, you want to make sure that it's safe. You want to make sure that it's all cleaned out inside there and you don't have any integrity issues with those clay liners that are going to allow that gas to get in between your clay liners and deteriorate that more. So
we don't want to lead you to believe that one of the advantages in convenience is you can set it and forget it. You still have maintenance obligations, I'll say, best word to use there. You have maintenance obligations for that chimney without some of the, higher risks that you run with wood. So that's, I'm really sitting here enjoying the fact that I've been thinking hard about replacing the wood stove insert that I have, and I'm thinking, man, some gas log sets sure do sound good right now.
Well, I know a guy. If you just,
I love it. I love this industry, and I love the fact that we get to do this podcast together, brother. And once again, Randy, I think we're going to close it up right there. If anybody has any questions or if they want to make a comment about some of the advantages they've seen out on the road, absolutely get a hold of us. There are several ways you can get a hold of us. Just check it out there in the podcast notes. Also, shout out to all of our pros. If you are going to be switching from wood burning to gas burning, do not do this alone. Your plumbers can help you and need to be the ones who run that gas line for you so they can put a manometer on that sucker and know, the information that they need to know. Give Randy a call in a specific size log set, sizes and burners and pans. They're going to need a volume to be able to function properly as well when it comes to gas. So refer back to all of our conversations about gas and gas burning. There is a very specific way you should go about this and getting it set up. And Randy hit the nail on the head too. It's not a matter of, I'm done burning wood, I'm going to burn gas. You want to make sure that chimney is cleaned. Get a chimney pro out there to do that for you. If you need to run gas, get a plumber out there. They do excellent work. Just find a good one in your area and enjoy your log sets for years, because that's what it'll be. Those bad boys will sit in there for a long time, and you'll have a lot of great memories. So we want to thank everybody for listening, and join us next time. I promise they're going to hear it, right? They're going to hear it. We're definitely going to talk about ignition systems. So thanks again, everyone. Join us next time for Gas Log Ignition Systems. Which one is right for you? We'll see you then.